Here's the hand unit for the rig. Convergence knob, interaxial knob, start button, stop button or lock button, option button, left, right, up, down. The one in the center is enter. When the screen first comes up, it shows you the version of software that's running and tells you to set these knobs to the index, the red marks, and push start to begin. If you hold down the option key at the same time as you push start, you'll be able to set your preferences. So let's do that. Option, start. This lets us set our units for the interaxial, expressed either in inches or millimeters. Let's choose inches. Distance units can be expressed in feet or meters. We choose feet. We can use these left and right keys to choose faster or slower button responses. Faster, slower. I like about 170 myself. The last setup wasn't saved, so it's going to be homing pitch, roll, and height. That runs the pitch, roll, and height adjustments back to their limit switches and then centers them. They're currently centering, and they're all centered. We get to choose whether balance compensation for Steadicam is on or off. We're on ahead right now, so we'll turn it off. Convergence will be homing. It tells us balance is off, interaxial is in inches, distance is in feet. Interaxial is homing, balance plate is homing. All three of those, convergence, interaxial, and balance, will home each time the unit is first powered up. Allows us to choose the setup we'll be using. It comes up with the last setup that was saved, but we can choose it, set it back with the up-down keys to change it. When we like the setup number that we're on, the enter key in the center will choose it. Since it's the first time we're using it, we don't have a saved setup one, so we're not going to use it. Let's adjust the alignment for number 1. We can adjust the horizontal alignment. You can scroll up and down and choose the one you want to use with the enter key. Now we're in lateral. We can use the left and right keys to adjust the lateral. This is expressed in thousandths of an inch now, the same as the interaxial. Convergence, we can adjust left and right. This is in degrees. Enter to set. We want to set the vertical adjustments. We can up, down, pitch, height, or roll. When we're done with those adjustments, down here to save and lock. Save setup 1, yes. It will tell us it's saving it. It's important not to disturb the power to the unit while it's saving it. Now we can select the convergence mode, whether it's linked or separate. Linked means the convergence distance is set with the convergence knob, and the angle is adjusted as the interaxial changes. So no matter what the interaxial is, we are still converged at 15 feet. If you'd like to have them independent or separate, put it back to 0. The up arrow tells us we can go back a page. We can select the separate mode, set the convergence angle independently of the interaxial, and it expresses it in degrees here. Set the interaxial directly. If we'd like to lock that, we can use the stop or lock key to do that, and now even if the knobs get bumped, those settings don't change. And when you use the go button or unlock key, it goes back to control by the knobs. If you'd like to go back to linked, the back arrow, and since we didn't put the knobs back to 0, it's prompting us to do that. When it goes between the modes, it likes to have the knobs at 0. Now we can choose linked or separate. If we'd like to go back and make adjustments, the back arrow key, up one menu, we could change the setup. If we want to go clear back to the beginning, the left arrow key gets us all the way back to the beginning. So we've saved setup 1. We put the knobs to the index. Let's use the balance compensation this time. We'll use setup number 1 and then we'll set up for balance compensation. So we're setting the balance compensation to on. The convergence homing is happening right now. It's telling us that balance is on, interaxial is still inches, distance is still in feet. We didn't change our preferences, so those are all the same. It remembers your settings. Select setup 1, yes. Used save setup 1, yes. So it's setting the alignment to those preset numbers, saving that setup. We don't need to adjust the alignment, but we do want to adjust the balance. So we set the interaxial to 0, press start to begin, and then we adjust the balance plate left or right. We're moving the camera to the left now until it's balanced perfectly on the Steadicam. When we've got the balance just right, and we can go back and forth and fine tune it. This is expressed in thousandths of an inch again. When we get it just right with the 0 interaxial, we press enter. And then we set the interaxial to whatever the maximum you're going to use that day is. Typically, you just set it for 4 inches and it will be fine. Set the convergence for whatever the maximum convergence is you would use. Press start to begin and use this to balance the rig again. The movement starts out slowly, so you can fine tune it. We can actually tweak it by 1/1000th of an inch at a time. And when we're happy with that, the balance is coordinated. We set the interaxial back to 0, convergence back to 0. Press start to finish. We want to save this setup. It will save both the balance setup and the alignment setup. We say yes. It's saving that setup. When the setup data is saved, we're ready to operate again.